Well, unfortunately, we're a nation at war with drugs. So many lives have been ruined and lost.
But amid that loss, there is hope in the faces and the stories of those who survive. I recently spoke with a man who lost everything and then got it back.
Look forward to seeing you.
Thank you.
Anytime.
To see Eric Fitzpatrick today, it's hard to imagine how someone so positive and upbeat could ever hit rock bottom. But he did. News 8 was there 23 years ago after Fitzpatrick witnessed a friend and his girlfriend die after being struck by a train.
Right off the bat, I just didn't care. You know, like I didn't care about school. And then I used, alcohol and substances to just push it all down.
He suppressed that pain for years.
You know, alcohol was my thing when I was in high school in my early 20s, and that's kind of how I met people, and I thought how people liked me because I could pound a ton of beers and, you know, I was the life of the party.
A lacrosse injury led to prescription pills.
For about 8-9 years, it was just prescription pills. And then a doctor that I was seeing lost her license, and I was, you know, forced to fend for myself, and that's when I turned to heroin on the streets.
That's when the person who had everything tossed it all away.
I grew up in Brighton, played lacrosse. My parents gave me everything I could possibly want. You know, a car when I was 16, new cleats, new lacrosse stick. I had everything.
To feed his addiction, Fitzpatrick sold his belongings. He stole from his parents. And eventually, he alienated the people who loved him the most.
I like to say that my rock bottom had a basement, but rock bottom was the heroin use.
In and out of jail, all that was left was to become a statistic and join the dead. But that's not what happened.
I owe drug court and recovery fitness to saving my life. Had I not been in drug court, I would have never found out about this place.
In November of 2017, Fitzpatrick walked through the front door of Recovery Fitness in Rochester for 8 hours of community service. He never left.
The message was that recovery is possible. Recovery is pretty cool. And if I could join this group and smile and go on hikes and live my life, you know, that's what I want to do. And I had tried so many things before, so why not try this?
Inside the walls of this old firehouse, Fitzpatrick found acceptance, community, and trust. And eventually, he found himself.
For the first time, there was a light at the end of the tunnel, and there was more than one tunnel.
Unshackled from addiction for the first time in years, Fitzpatrick found the courage to open up about the deadly train accident. He slowly mended the broken relationships. He reclaimed his life. None of this, of course, was easy. He had plenty of support. But Fitzpatrick is living, breathing hope for anyone who says it can't be done.
It's possible. It is possible. You know, there's so many different ways that you can approach recovery these days. Multiple pathways I love. You know, what worked for me may not work for you, but now we have options.
Fitzpatrick, as it turns out, did become a statistic. He's a survivor.
Your life today, how would you describe it?
No, it's awesome. Life is good.
And Fitzpatrick is now working at Recovery Fitness, helping others reclaim their lives. To hear more about his recovery, including how he handles the fear of a relapse, we have a special web extra that will be posted online at rochesterfirst.com.